Coach, I know that you work on improvement all year. So this test against Oklahoma State, will, will it give you a pretty good idea of how much you've advanced through the year?
Yeah, I think so. I think that watching the student athletes and my team compete will certainly give me an idea. Is he making progress? Has he gotten better? I think some of them are on the upswing. Some of them are wrestling better than they were. Certainly, they're better than they did in the last dual meet. I'm excited to see the kind of grit that they display, the kind of fight they display, and watching them compete will certainly give me a barometer of where they're at.
I know in the first match you were so disappointed, and you thought that your team could have wrestled better, especially in the third period. How far have they come in this regard throughout the year? They competed better for you, in your opinion?
Well, I think one of the things I think of right away, it's kind of a loaded question, So yes, they've competed better certain guys have been up, and certain guys have gone down a little bit. But what I'd say is, I think having people in and out of the lineup all year has been a challenge, and I think you're seeing it across the board. I think people have been out. We've had some injury at 33, obviously a 41 problem, and 49 had some injuries. So, up and down the lineup, but at times I'm like this, wow, they really competed well, and then there's some other times where I think, well, he was competing better, before he got injured, and so I think that's kind of loaded. Like I said, I'm excited to see where they go, from here. Like, hey, listen, there's you get closer to the postseason, and then it's just a matter of who's mentally ready for the challenge, who really wants it, how passionate are you really, and so that's really what I'm looking for. I want to see somebody really passionate. Instead of the coach being passionate, I want to see the athlete be passionate. And I think there's some guys that will display that this weekend.
Thanks, Coach.
Hey, Coach.
Hey.
So you mentioned Tony Madrigal in 133. How are him and Joe Gorello both healing up after this extended time away from matches?
Well, I think Tony, obviously he had a really good start to the season, and then obviously he got hurt, and we haven't seen the best Tony Madrigal yet. So I think he's got his, really just overcoming, it's more of a mental thing. When you're injured and have to compete injured, and we all do, and we all have, and I think that part has been very distracting to him, but I think once you get over the fact that, when you wrestle hurt and you've been used to it, I think it's just there's a threshold for pain you got to deal with, and there's a mentality that you have to go into the match with. When you shake hands with another human being and know that I expect him to come after me. And once you get that framed right in your mind, I think you'll have a better performance. And I think if he can get enthusiastic coming down the pipe in the postseason, I think that we'll see a better product than what we've seen. I think he started really good. He beat maybe the 5, the 8, and the 10 or 11, and then he took some dismal losses. And so I'm excited to see if he's going to put it together mentally. At the end of the day, most people don't really care that you're injured. They want to just see what you can do. And when you shake hands with people, it's a fight. It's a controlled fight. And so I'm hopeful for him to get his mind ready for the competition in the postseason. Joe Gorello, he's a pro. He's always working hard at it. He does all the right things. I'm excited to see, where he is, with a guy like Woodley. And then obviously getting into the postseason. There's lots of people, I think, that, in the Big 12 tournament and at the NCAA championships that Joe can compete and beat. So, but we'll see where he's at and see how he competes and how he handles all the little details.
Well, so in another weight class, 141, Willie is wrestling probably the best wrestler he's seen yet. So what are you looking for out of him, and what are you telling him going into this match?
Well, at 149, Willie McDowell's done a really good job. He's beaten some ranked opponents. I think T-Feller's a really good test for him. I think Willie's really competitive, and we're going to find out how competitive he is. He's going to be in a hostile environment. He's going to be in a place where he probably won't get any calls. And so, I look forward to seeing how he responds to it. I think Willie's capable of doing anything he wants to do when he makes his mind up. So, I know G. Feller will be ferocious with his Tulsa ride, and if Willie can get in there and compete the way he's capable, it would be a good win for him, and it'll really show that coming down the pipe in the postseason that he'll be a real threat to place at the Nationals if he gets it done on Sunday.
And so Jake Woodley, he's I think facing a new opponent this time than the last time you guys wrestled Oklahoma State. What are you telling him? Not knowing really who he's going up against.
Yeah, well, I think they're using the same guy. I think his name's Stitka, and I think that the answer for Jake is to just keep wrestling and improving and building his lead and making sure that he wrestles hard and doesn't take anything lightly, A.J. Ferrari obviously is out for the rest of the season, and, we're hopeful that, he, gets healthy and gets back in there. I think that for Jake, it's really just everything's got to get dialed into, everything's a national tournament now. Everything's the Big 12 tournament, getting you ready. And how you approach your wrestling, and from your warm-up to the cool-down to your attack rate, everything starts to matter. And so I think you got to have your finest performance always, especially in the postseason. You're getting down to the nitty-gritty here. So, I think Jake has to really just focus on, again, doing all the things you're supposed to do and getting his mind ready for the competition, and you have to get to a place where you're competing against nameless, faceless people. It does not matter who the person is. The outcome will depend on how well he competes, and if he does the little things right in finishing and getting off bottom and riding hard. So, I think it's an easy message for him, do all the little things right. This is what you work for, and it's exciting. But we're getting, like I said, we're in the postseason, for Christ's sakes, and you got to get yourself ready to roll. It does matter. So, I'm hopeful that he'll go out and I hope he's aggressive. And takes control right away and builds his lead.
So other than that, what are some matchups that you're really keeping your eye on this weekend?
Well, there's a bunch of matchups that I think will be good, and they'll be close, And like the first match, they won they won some close matches, and it got out of hand, and they put it on us. Let's be honest, They took it to us in round one, but I think the matchups will be fun to watch for the fans. I think 125 will be fun for the fans. I think 41, Carter Young and Butler is fun for the fans, two Oklahoma kids. I think 49, Willie McDowell and G. Feller will be fun for the fans. I think Wyatt Sheets and Justin Thomas will be fun for the fans. They've been back and forth. I think Plott and Anthony Mantanone will be fun for the fans. They're back and forth. At 197, they'll have somebody new in there. Heavyweight, Serber and Josh Heinzelman will be fun for the fans. So I think it's going to be, a great duel. I think that there's lots of opportunity for us. We got to turn some of those ones that we took a hit in the first duel around for it to be a competitive match. But I'm excited about it.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach, that your comment about wrestling nameless, faceless people, is that something you stress to the whole team this time of year?
Yeah, I think that's always a stress, but, I think I got to say it more, because I think people wrestle sometimes records and wrestle the ranking and instead of wrestling the person, just, hey, it doesn't matter who it is. I think that's something I probably need to stress even more. You're competing to see how great you can be at something, and if you really want to be a national champion, it shouldn't matter who it is. When you're dialed in the way you're supposed to be dialed in, it shouldn't matter who's on the other side. You're still doing the things that you're great at, and the way you compete, it matters to me. And the amount of effort you use and the amount of passion you have, it matters to me. I'm watching that all the time. So, that we can agree to disagree on the moves, but at the same time, it's the passion. I want passionate people here at OU. I don't want to be around people that are not passionate. I don't want people that don't want to be here, and I don't want people that don't, I want someone that's going to represent us the right way. And, and Sooner Nation wants to see people that go after people and score points and have fun, and, and I think that's just what we need to have,